What if the greatest love story of the ton is the one that was never supposed to happen? What if season 5 is not just another romance, but a rebellion wrapped in silk, secrets, and scandal? Because this time, love will not follow the rules. It will break them. Bridgerton. Season 5 will not begin with glittering ballrooms or playful flirtations. It will begin with silence. The kind of silence that lingers after loss. Francesca's world has already changed once with John's sudden death, but grief in this story is not just sadness. It is transformation. She is no longer the quiet Bridgerton sister standing in the background. She is a widow, a countess, and a woman standing at a crossroads between duty and desire. Society will expect her to behave a certain way. The tone always does. They will whisper that she is still young. They will remind her that estates need heirs. They will insist that stability must come before emotion. But here is where the tension truly begins. Because Francesca may try to convince herself that what she wants is simple. A husband, a child, a secure future. No passion, no chaos, just peace. But peace has never survived long in this world. The shadow of Michaela will remain present even in absence. When someone leaves too suddenly, they do not disappear. They echo. Every ballroom will feel slightly emptier. Every hand offered to Francesca will feel slightly wrong. And that is where season 5 will slowly build its suspense, not with loud drama, but with quiet discomfort. Francesca may enter the marriage mart again, telling her family she is ready. She may speak calmly, logically, explaining that she only seeks companionship and motherhood. Violet will want to believe her. The family will try to support her. But the audience will see what Francesca herself is afraid to admit. She is not searching for a man. She is searching for a feeling she cannot name. And then comes the real conflict: society versus self. In Regency England, love was often secondary to survival. Titles passed through men. Estates demanded structure. Reputation was everything. But this version of the world has always bent history to serve emotion. Race was reimagined, power was redistributed. So why would inheritance remain untouched? That question alone creates the core tension of season 5. If Francesca attempts to remarry a man for security, it will not be because she has stopped feeling something deeper. It will be because she is trying to outrun it. Meanwhile, Michaela's absence will not be peaceful. Leaving was not freedom. It was escape. Escape from guilt. Escape from longing. Escape from loving someone who still belongs to a memory. The brilliance of this season will lie in parallel journeys. Francesca trying to move forward, Michaela trying to move away, both failing. When Michaela eventually returns, and she will return, it will not be dramatic at first. It will be restrained, polite, controlled. That control will be the most dangerous part, because beneath it will sit years of unspoken truth. Season 5 will change everything because it will not only question who Francesca loves, it will question what love costs in a society built on expectation. The tension will not just be romantic. It will be social, political, familial, internal. And the most powerful shift of all, Francesca will not be chased this time. She will choose. But before she chooses love, she will have to confront guilt. Guilt for feeling again, guilt for wanting differently, guilt for possibly betraying John's memory. That emotional struggle will mirror the books written by Julia Quinn, but it will evolve into something more daring. Because in the original story, the barrier was timing. Here, the barrier is the entire structure of society. The first section of season 5 will be slow, intentional, and emotionally heavy. It will rebuild Francesca from the inside out. We will see her trying to fit back into a world that suddenly feels smaller. Suitors may appear, gossip will spread, the ton will speculate. But every conversation will carry one unspoken question. What happens when the heart refuses to obey? And that is only the beginning. Because once love stops hiding, scandal follows. If the first part of the season is about silence and denial, the second will be about disruption. Because no matter how far Michaela runs, distance cannot erase connection. Her return will not arrive with celebration. It will arrive with tension, the kind that tightens every room she enters. Francesca may believe she has prepared herself. She may have attended dinners, entertained suitors, spoken calmly about remarriage. On the surface, she will look composed, strong, practical, but the moment she sees Michaela again, that carefully built composure will begin to crack. The beauty of Bridgerton has always been in its slow burn emotion. Long glances, pauses that last too long, words that mean more than they should. Season 5 will use that same language, but this time, every glance will feel dangerous. Because now, it is no longer just about grief. It is about desire. Michaela's return will bring unfinished emotion back to the surface. She left believing it was the noble thing to do, to give Francesca space, to remove temptation, but absence did not create clarity. It created longing, and longing has a way of sharpening truth. Their first conversations will be careful. Polite questions, controlled smiles, but beneath the politeness, something unresolved will burn. Michaela may try to act distant, even teasing at times, masking her feelings with charm. Francesca may respond with restraint, reminding herself that society is watching. And society will be watching. The ton thrives on gossip. A widow entertaining attention so soon is already a topic. But a widow sharing quiet, intense moments with her late husband's cousin, that will create whispers. At first, subtle, then sharper. This is where the emotional conflict deepens. In the original novel by Julia Quinn, guilt was centered around loving someone tied to John's memory. That emotional weight will remain, but now it is heavier. Because Francesca is not just confronting the idea of loving again. She is confronting the idea of loving differently. She will question herself constantly. Is this grief? Is this loneliness? Or is it something that was always there? Michaela, on the other hand, will struggle with restraint. She understands the danger. She knows what society allows and what it punishes. And yet, every time Francesca speaks about marrying for practicality, something inside her will break. The turning point of this section will not be a grand confession. It will be jealousy. Francesca will begin receiving serious offers. One suitor in particular may seem ideal, respectable, stable, willing to give her the heir everyone expects. The family may quietly approve. Violet may gently encourage consideration, believing she is helping her daughter find security. Michaela will watch from the sidelines, smiling, nodding, pretending. But jealousy in silence is powerful. It does not shout. It tightens. It makes every polite interaction harder to bear. And eventually, restraint will slip. Perhaps during a tense conversation, Michaela will challenge Francesca's reasoning. Ask her if she truly wants this. If she truly feels nothing beyond duty. Francesca may respond defensively, insist that love is not necessary, that passion is fleeting, that stability is enough, but the audience will see the truth. She is trying to convince herself. This section of the season will carefully build emotional pressure. Each interaction will feel slightly more charged, each glance slightly longer, each argument slightly more personal. The tension will not explode yet. It will simmer, and outside of their personal struggle, the world will close in. Whispers will grow louder. Questions about inheritance will surface. If Francesca delays remarriage, what happens to the estate? If she chooses, unexpectedly, what happens to reputation? Political and social pressure will slowly tighten around her like a corset pulled too tight. Season 5 will change everything because the conflict is no longer simple romance. It is identity versus expectation. It is heart versus history. By the end of this section, one thing will become undeniable. Francesca cannot move forward while pretending her feelings are harmless, and Michaela cannot stay silent forever, because the more they try to control the situation, the more inevitable their truth becomes. And when that truth finally surfaces, it will not be quiet. By the middle of the season, the tension will no longer hide behind polite smiles. It will shift into confrontation. Because there comes a moment in every great love story where pretending becomes impossible. For Francesca, that moment will arrive slowly, but once it does, it will change her forever. Francesca will continue meeting suitors, continuing the performance of moving on. She will speak of stability, of heirs, of doing what is sensible. The ton will praise her strength. They will admire her grace as a widow stepping back into society. But admiration is not understanding. No one will see the quiet storm inside her. Michaela will try to keep her distance at first. She may even encourage Francesca to accept one of the proposals, believing it is the safer path. That sacrifice will hurt more than confession ever could, because sometimes loving someone means stepping aside, even when it destroys you. But here is where the emotional shift begins. There will be a moment, perhaps during a heated argument, when frustration finally replaces politeness. Michaela may accuse Francesca of hiding behind duty. Francesca may accuse Michaela of abandoning her when she needed her most. Old wounds will reopen. The grief of John's death will mix with the fear of losing each other. And in that confrontation, truth will slip out. Not in a dramatic speech, not in perfect words, but in raw emotion. Francesca will realize that what she feels is not loneliness. It is not confusion. It is not gratitude. It is love. A different kind of love than she has known before, but love nonetheless. And that realization will terrify her. Because loving Michaela does not just mean choosing a person. It means challenging everything society expects of her. The beauty of Bridgerton has always been about emotional bravery. But Season 5 will raise the stakes. In previous seasons, love defied status or scandal. This time, love defies structure itself. Francesca will wrestle with guilt. She will question whether loving Michaela dishonors John's memory. She may visit places that remind her of her late husband, searching for clarity. And what she will slowly understand is this: loving again does not erase the past. It does not betray it. The heart is capable of expanding. Meanwhile, Michaela's struggle will deepen. She has spent years believing her feelings were wrong, or at least impossible. Watching Francesca consider another life will force her to confront the truth she has avoided since the beginning. She did not leave to protect Francesca. She left because staying would have required courage she did not yet have. But courage grows under pressure. The social tension will escalate as well. The tone's whispers will sharpen into suspicion. Close proximity between them will no longer go unnoticed. A single misinterpreted moment at a public gathering could spark rumor. And in this world, rumor spreads faster than truth. Family conflict may begin to surface. Some Bridgertons may sense the shift before Francesca openly admits it. Violet, ever intuitive, may see the fear in her daughter's eyes, and the longing. Her reaction will matter deeply. Support will not come instantly. It will come after reflection, after understanding that happiness sometimes looks different than expected. The emotional climax of this section will not be physical. It will be a confession of vulnerability. Perhaps late at night, perhaps after another argument, Francesca will finally admit she is tired of pretending, tired of performing strength, tired of choosing what is acceptable over what is real. Michaela will not celebrate that confession. She will understand the weight of it. Because once the truth is spoken, there is no safe way back. Season 5 will change everything because it will redefine what courage looks like in this universe. Not a dramatic elopement, not a reckless scandal, but two women standing still long enough to admit they cannot keep lying to themselves. And once desire is acknowledged, the real question begins. What are they willing to risk for it? Because loving in secret is painful, but loving openly in a society that may reject you, that is terrifying. And the second half of the season will demand an answer. After confession comes consequence. Francesca and Michaela may finally understand their feelings, but understanding does not equal safety. The tone is not kind to what it does not understand. A widow delaying remarriage is already suspicious. A widow growing visibly close to another woman. That is dangerous. At first, the whispers will remain subtle. Lingering looks at gatherings, conversations that stop when they enter a room, invitations that slowly disappear. Reputation in this world is fragile, and once cracked, it spreads quickly. Francesca will feel the pressure from every direction. Advisors concerned about the estate, distant relatives questioning inheritance, family friends offering helpful guidance. The message will be clear. Marry well, restore stability, protect your name. But this time, she will hesitate. The internal conflict will become sharper than ever. If she chooses Michaela, she risks scandal, she risks isolation, she risks the future security everyone insists she needs. But if she walks away from Michaela, she risks something worse. A lifetime of pretending. Michaela, meanwhile, will begin to pull back again. not because her feelings have changed, but because she sees the damage forming. She may offer to leave once more, believing that sacrificing her own happiness is the only way to protect Francesca. That echo of past mistakes will create one of the most painful turning points of the season, because this time, Francesca will not let her go. The emotional power of Bridgerton has always centered on choice, not destiny, not fate, choice. And Season 5 will demand the bravest choice yet. There may be a public moment, not dramatic, not theatrical, but undeniable. A refusal of a proposal. A visible act of defiance against expectation. Something small, yet powerful enough to confirm the rumors. That single action could shift the ton from whispering to reacting. Some will turn away, some will criticize, but not everyone. One of the most meaningful shifts of this season will be quiet support. Perhaps from Violet, who will struggle at first, but ultimately choose her daughter's happiness over reputation. Perhaps from a sibling who understands what it means to love against odds. Support will not erase scandal, but it will strengthen resolve. Then comes the practical problem: the estate, the inheritance, the future. In the original story by Julia Quinn, the tension centered around heirs and remarriage to secure lineage. Here, that tension evolves. Instead of society pushing Francesca toward a man, society may attempt to restrict her choices entirely. Legal complications could arise. Distant male relatives might attempt to claim control. Financial pressure could build. This external threat will raise the stakes beyond romance. Now it becomes survival. Francesca will have to ask herself, is she willing to fight publicly? Is she willing to risk comfort for authenticity? The answer will not come easily. She will grieve again. Not for John this time, but for the simpler life she once imagined. Michaela's growth will also reach its peak here. No longer running, no longer hiding behind charm or distance. She will stand firm, not demanding, not pressuring, simply present, offering partnership instead of escape. Their love will mature in this section. It will no longer be about stolen glances or unresolved tension. It will be about commitment under pressure, about standing side by side when the world shifts against them. The most powerful moment of this part may not be a grand declaration, but a quiet promise. A decision to face the consequences together, not recklessly, not impulsively, but knowingly. Season 5 will change everything because it reframes what strength looks like in this universe. It is no longer about securing a perfect match within society's rules. It is about rewriting the rules entirely. And as scandal reaches its peak, only one question will remain. Will love survive once it is tested by the full weight of the ton? Because the final chapter will not be about fear. It will be about legacy. By the final part of the season, the storm will have passed, but not without leaving marks. Reputation may be shaken. Alliances may have shifted. The ton will never look at Francesca the same way again. And that is exactly the point. Because Season 5 will not end with quiet acceptance. It will end with transformation. After facing gossip, pressure, and the threat to her estate, Francesca will finally stop negotiating with fear. She will understand that no carefully chosen husband could ever silence the truth inside her. Security without love is not stability. It is surrender. Michaela, too, will complete her journey, from running away to standing still, from hiding affection to claiming it with dignity. She will no longer see herself as the disruption in Francesca's life, but as her equal partner. The final episodes will focus on resolution. Not easy resolution, but earned resolution. The estate conflict may reach its highest tension here. A distant claimant pushing legal boundaries, financial advisors warning of collapse, the ton expecting Francesca to correct her mistake, but instead of retreating, she will confront it calmly. She will assert her right to manage her life and her title. And this is where the show's alternate history will matter most. Bridgerton has never been bound completely by historical accuracy. It reimagined race, power, and opportunity. Season 5 could take its boldest step yet, reshaping inheritance expectations, perhaps through legal maneuvering, perhaps through royal support, perhaps through an unconventional solution that secures Francesca's estate without forcing her into a false marriage. Adoption may become part of that solution, not as a replacement for love, but as an expansion of it. Instead of choosing a husband solely for an heir, Francesca may,